So tech packs. This is a question that I get a lot, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how I create my tech packs. So today I'm going to be creating a tech pack for our oversized t-shirt. I've actually got one of my favorite people here and he's wearing one of our older designs. This is a design that we actually created for an exclusive pop-up. So if you come to our pop-ups, you'll be able to get some of our exclusive designs. And I'm going to be using this to measure it out and get the measurements to actually create our oversized t-shirts. I'll be making adjustments where I need to. For example, I'll probably want to extend the arm a little bit, drop the shoulder a little bit, things like that. But before we actually get into that, we need to start talking about the specifics and noting that down on our tech pack.
So when you're talking about specifics, what do you mean by specifics?
I mean things like the name of the t-shirt, the season, the colors it's gonna come in, material, all stuff like that. It's things that will tell the manufacturer a little bit more about the t-shirt. Okay. Before we start talking about the measurements and the stitching and all of that. For example, with this t-shirt, it's going to be our oversized t-shirt. So I like to just put like the title up in this box up there. And the season, back when I first made this format, we actually used to follow like the seasons of the year. But now we literally work on our own season. So I'm actually going to call this SV2.0, which is the name of this series. Colors, this t-shirt is going to come in white, black and grey, but like a charcoal grey. And in this you can also specify like what Pantone colour of grey, because you know there's loads of shades of grey. So in this we would have to like specify what Pantone colour of grey that we need to use, the weight of the t-shirt. So that's measured in GSM, which is grams per square meter, I believe. And for this t-shirt, I actually want it to be 200 to 220. In between there, I don't mind. Material, I want this to be made out of 100% ring sprung cotton. Then the sample size, your size is medium. We're going to be working with a sample size medium, which means now you're committed to this now because you're my sample model.
Yeah.
So everything will be based on your fit, so that everything is what's the word, like the word,
uniform.
That's the one.
Universal.
No, uniform was the right word. And the sizes it's gonna come in, so small, medium, large and extra large. Quantity, I'm going to leave blank because we're unsure. This is still something I'm deliberating with the manufacturer. And gender is going to be gender neutral, so both male and female can be rocking this t-shirt. And then the description, I will fill that in later because it's just basically like basic description of what I expect the t-shirt to be. So next, I like to go into the specifics of what actually makes up this t-shirt, what makes this t-shirt what it needs to be. So the specifics need to be as descriptive as possible. They need to translate clearly to the manufacturer so that they're able to understand what exactly it is that you're trying to get across. So I'm starting off with the crew neck. I want it to have this ribbed feel like it actually has on this t-shirt already. So in this section here, I've got style of crew neck. So I'm going to type in ribbed crew neck. Next, with the shoulder, I actually want it to be more of a dropped shoulder, so it has like that oversized feel. So probably like cut, kind of sort of like this. I'm going to highlight that onto my tech pack here. So dropped. It's called like a dropped shoulder. So now we need to go into like the stitches. Now this is something that I actually had to learn with time. So on the end here, this is called a cover stitch or a twin needle stitch, however you want to call it. You will see by this side that it's a cover stitch, and it just basically means having like these 2 rows of stitching, and that's the kind of stitching I want to have at the end of my oversized t-shirt. I never specified what stitching I wanted in previous things that I've made in the past, but from research I've started to learn like what kind of stitching looks nice where. If you have a look here, you will see that it's literally just the one stitch, but I actually want it to have like the double stitch here. You will see on the tracksuit top, see how this like joins together and then it's got like that double row here. It's a more expensive type of stitch, but it does add to the quality of the clothing. So I'm just noting those stitches into my tech pack here. So just to put this into perspective, the kind of print we used on this t-shirt was a HTV, which is a heat transfer vinyl, but we're trying to move away from that because this is like not the best quality of printing or presenting your logo that one could use. So we're actually going to go for embroidery. So as you can see here, I've typed style of logo, and in here I'm just going to type embroidered logo. And then lastly, we're actually going to have like another logo that's going to go at the back. It's going to go at the back here, and it's going to be our eland, our, what do I call it, our emblem, but it's going to be like, again, embroidered, but it'll be embroidered in the same color as the t-shirt. So it should come up as kind of sort of like an embossed logo, and I want that to kind of represent us, you know, like that's us. Like if you don't see an item of clothing without that, it's like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
It should be a signature you expect to see with all of our clothing.
Exactly. So now is the most important part, which can be a bit finicky and it takes a lot of patience. I need to do the specific measurements of the t-shirts. Now, quick disclaimer, this is probably not your industry standard tech pack, but it's good enough for a manufacturer to interpret, and they understand when you're just starting out. So I've actually got a guide here, and it's actually from one of my older designs. And it just highlights all the bits and pieces that I would need to measure and note down for the manufacturer to understand that this is what I want this length, this is what I want that length, and it's got a table that accompanies it. If anybody wants me to email them my tech pack guide that I've been using today, then follow me on Instagram, drop me a DM with your email address, and I'll be more than willing to send that out. Obviously, I want this t-shirt to be a little bit more oversized, so I'm going to be adjusting certain measurements such as the length of the arm. So I do it in an interesting way. I actually like to start off with the horizontal-ish lines, and then I go in and do the vertical type lines or measurements. You get what I mean when I start measuring. So I'm going to start off with A, and A on my diagram is the line from here to here. And I'm noting it down on a piece of paper, but I will be putting it onto a computer. As you can see, it's 14, but because we want it to be a drop shoulder, I'm actually going to bring that down to about 17 centimeters. This shoulder seam will now start from here. So the next measurement is armpit to armpit seam. These are probably not like the real technical terms, but for my manufacturer and any manufacturer that I've used, they can understand what I'm trying to say. So we're literally measuring from here right across to here. I'm pulling the fabric back to make sure that I'm getting the whole thing. So to me that says 58. Does that say 58 to you?
Yep.
I'm happy with keeping it that length, so I'm not adjusting that. So this measurement here, I don't even feel like this is even a necessary measurement, but I just like to put it in just in case, just so that there's more than one thing to base the measurement off. Can you see that's again 58? That means this shirt goes like this. 58. Then the last one is the distance between here and here. 58. We're also gonna do the arm opening. I'm going from this fold here to the seam that's underneath here. Flips it. Okay, what's G? Now we're moving on to what I consider the vertical lines. So we're starting off with the length of this. So I actually like the length of this as it is. What do you think? Mm-hmm. To me, that says 1.5 centimeters. So what I'm measuring here is the top of the shoulder seam to the actual end of the arm opening, I like to call it. So currently it's at 23.5, and because we're dropping the shoulder a little bit more, it will actually probably end up being a bit down here, which is exactly the kind of fit that we want to go for. So I'm guessing you've pretty much, caught the drift of how to go about measuring the different bits. So I'm just going to whiz through it quickly. So the last measurements are all associated with the logo. Obviously, this is not the logo that we're going to be working with, but typically a logo will be about, I believe it's like between 19 and 24 centimeters down from this seam. So that's how you would typically measure where your logo is going to go. So for me, I'm probably going to place it at about 22 because it is like that breast logo. And from the center of here to here, basically, if that makes sense, it's about, I believe it's 4 inches. So that's about 11 centimeters. And that would be like the midpoint of whatever breast logo you intend on putting. So our logo is going to just be like this, smaller, but here. And the length of our logo, we've actually got a length and width of our logo that we keep the same for pretty much everything that we make. It's like 6 centimeters. So the logo will probably be about like that length. And then obviously the height of the logo is going to be proportionate to the length. So that's what's going to go here. And that's what I'm going to fill out in my logo length section here. Remember we spoke about putting that Eland logo here. One thing that I would need to note and tell my manufacturer is like, what's the distance between this seam here and the start of the logo? So it'll be about, I don't know, what do you think? Where should we put it?
I think 4 centimeters down.
Okay, so about 4 centimeters down will be the top of the logo. Then obviously we'll do the length and the height of that logo, which is something that I still need to decide upon. That's actually done. So I'll go ahead and put this onto the computer, and that's pretty much how I create my tech packs. I hope that's been as detailed and as informative as possible. How has it been being my fit model for the day? And by fit, I mean like fit. Not
Yeah. Oh, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Would you come back and do it again?
100%.
We're basing all the sizes on you now.
I'm a model now.
Yes.
Period.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.